From the students of Penn State Meteorology, here is your Penn State Campus Weather Service forecast.
Happy Saturday. I'm Christian Spallone from the Campus Weather Service, here with a look at an update on Hurricane Hilary, which is currently a Category 3 storm in the eastern Pacific Ocean, tracking north, expected to impact parts of California and the southwestern United States throughout the rest of the weekend and into early next week. So we can see it here on our high-resolution infrared satellite imagery. Pretty impressive system, taking up a lot of room here on our camera over the eastern Pacific right now. Just off the coast of the Baja California Peninsula, zooming in, we can see that it did have an eye-like structure just a little while ago, but now it's become obscured by some cloud cover in recent frames here. But it's weakened a little bit from yesterday. We've had some cooler water temperatures farther to the north that it's tracking into, but overall still packing a punch as it moves north and bringing plenty of moisture with it here. We can see that on our water vapor satellite imagery in those blue and those green colors here. We see plenty of moisture, and that's going to fuel those flooding rains as it makes its way north over the next 48 hours here. So moving north, we can see that it's already bringing all that moisture and driving it into the United States here. Lots of lighter, cooler colors that's indicating moister air in the upper parts of the atmosphere. So plenty of rain coming with the system across these regions. But why is Hilary actually taking this track that it is? Well, we can see that there's a strong area of high pressure centered here over much of the United States. And then as we go down to the south and west, we can see an upper level low centered here over parts of the Pacific Ocean. So Hilary's riding a track in between those two, and it's coming up, and it's bringing a ton of moisture from the tropical Pacific. Obviously, we have a very strong El Nino that's starting to develop in those areas. So lots of moisture, lots of warm water in those regions. That's bringing all that moisture to the north, and it's going to bring those potentially life-threatening floods into the United States later this weekend. So how about our current forecast track from the National Hurricane Center? Well, currently, as of 2 p.m., Hilary's 115-mile-per-hour winds, 958 millibars in terms of its barometric pressure, and its track brings it north, potentially making a landfall on the Baja California Peninsula tomorrow morning as a Category 1 storm, and then weakening further as it moves into California, potentially landfalling as a mid-grade tropical storm, or moving inland as a mid-grade tropical storm into inland Southern California tomorrow evening. So we can go ahead and look at our current alerts from the National Weather Service here. And we see tropical storm warnings that are in effect from San Diego up towards Los Angeles, and including inland areas like Palm Springs, California as well. Obviously, some of these are very arid regions, very prone to flooding, don't get much rainfall at all during the year typically. And these are actually the first ever tropical storm warnings issued in this area of the country. So it's a very impressive event. The last landfalling tropical storm in these areas is actually only one of them. That landfall in Southern California. That was back in 1939. So this is a very impressive event, and it's not very common, so pretty unprecedented to be seeing a tropical system in these parts. The flooding is the biggest threat that we're looking at, not so much wind, but flooding, the water. Excessive rainfall outlook for tomorrow from the Weather Prediction Center indicates a high risk. That's a greater than 70% chance of flooding rainfall in inland Southern California. So very dangerous conditions there. And across the entirety of the region, we see moderate and slight risks for excessive rainfall and flooding. So very dangerous situation setting up with the water. How much actual rainfall can we expect? Well, we can turn to one of our high-resolution forecast models here and go through into the day on Monday. We see 3 to 5 inches possible, or maybe even more in some spots throughout California and north into Nevada here. And so this is more rain than some of these areas see in an entire year. So it's a very impressive event setting up, and definitely going to be causing some very extreme flooding. So you're going to want to have a plan in place as we make our way into the rest of this weekend here. Wind threat is going to be present as well, not as present as the flooding rains, but we could see some gusts to tropical storm force or a little bit higher in portions of inland Southern California, where you currently have odds for the National Hurricane Center of 50 or 60% of seeing tropical storm force wind gusts. So our tips and preparedness plans over the next couple of days, well, if you're in these regions, have an evacuation plan in place. If flooding comes to your area, you're going to want to know where to go to get to higher ground in case of that flooding, and prepare your home and property accordingly for Hurricane Hilary, and most importantly, have a hurricane emergency supply kit. So this is things like water, having extra batteries, having plenty of food on hand, and make sure your devices are charged as we make our way into the next couple of days in case you lose power. So that's Hilary, but we have plenty more to talk about across the Atlantic Ocean right now. 4 tropical waves in areas of interest, and a little bit closer to home, we see a wave with a medium % chance of developing in the western Gulf of Mexico by the middle of next week. So plenty to talk about. We'll keep you updated right here. From the Penn State Campus Weather Service, I'm Christian Spallone. Have a great evening.